The Galactic Council was a gathering of the most advanced and peaceful civilizations in the galaxy. For centuries, they had upheld a fragile peace between countless species, all of whom had long since moved beyond the primitive notion of warfare. Conflict was resolved through diplomacy, economics, and sometimes quiet manipulation. The idea of open war was seen as barbaric and outdated. When humanity first petitioned to join the Council, they were regarded with curiosity. They were a younger species, new to space travel, and with a violent past. Despite their technological advancements, the Council believed humanity would naturally adopt the peaceful ways of the galaxy. After all, they had already grown hesitant to engage in large-scale wars after the devastating conflicts of their history. Humans are afraid of war, the Council chair, a towering, crystalline being known as Zarvex, said to the Assembly. They've seen what war does to their own world and have learned to fear it. We need not worry about them disrupting our peace. The room, filled with representatives of various species, murmured in agreement. Humans were cautious, prone to diplomacy over combat, exactly what the Council desired in new members. But then came the Ralkathar. The Ralkathar were a brutal, nomadic species, long banned from Council space for their savage nature. They thrived on conquest, ignoring diplomacy and treaties, and they saw humanity as weak. When the Ralkathar warships breached human territory, the Galactic Council expected the humans to fold quickly, to beg for help from the more advanced civilizations. However, what happened next was something no one had anticipated. Admiral Jenna Cole stood on the bridge of the UNS Vigilant, her steely gaze fixed on the approaching Ralkathar fleet. The sheer number of enemy ships would have terrified most species, but humanity had been here before. They had seen this type of aggression, had dealt with it on their own soil in the wars of Earth's past. "Status report," Cole demanded, her voice calm despite the impending battle. "Ralkathar forces closing in. Estimated time to engagement." 3 minutes, her lieutenant replied. Cole nodded, her mind focused and sharp. The Council had insisted that humanity wasn't built for war anymore, that they had moved beyond it. But war was a part of their history, woven into the very fabric of their species. While other civilizations forgot the chaos of battle, humanity had adapted. They had learned not to fear war, but to perfect it when necessary. As the Ralkathar warships fired the first volley, bright streaks of energy blazing across the void of space, humanity responded with cold precision. Entire fleets of human ships, armed with advanced weaponry and tactics that had been honed through centuries of conflict, moved in formation. Each action was calculated, every strategy carefully executed. Humanity didn't fear war. They knew war intimately, and they knew how to win. The Ralkathar expected an easy conquest, but instead, they were met with overwhelming resistance. Human ships, smaller but far more agile, outmaneuvered their bulky vessels. Laser fire and missile strikes decimated the Ralkathar fleet with surgical precision. It wasn't just brute force, it was strategy, efficiency, and an understanding of conflict that few in the galaxy could comprehend. Back at the Galactic Council, the atmosphere was tense. Reports of the battle filtered in, and the Council members were in shock. "How are they holding their ground?" one counselor asked wide-eyed. "They should be retreating by now." "This is madness," exclaimed another. Zarvex, who had once confidently claimed that humans feared war, sat in silence, watching the live feed of the battle. The Ralkathar fleet was in ruins, and the humans were advancing. It wasn't fear that drove them, it was survival. And it was something far more terrifying to their enemies: humanity's adaptability in the face of conflict. They didn't seek war, but when pushed, they fought with a cold, methodical determination that made the Council question everything they thought they knew. As the last of the Ralkathar forces were obliterated, Admiral Cole stood tall on the bridge, her face emotionless as she gave the final order. "Target their command ship," she said. "And this." The screen showed the Ralkathar's flagship, a monstrous behemoth of metal and weaponry, crackle with energy before erupting into a blinding explosion. The Ralkathar were defeated, their might shattered, and their ambitions halted. After the battle, the Galactic Council reconvened. The murmurs were no longer filled with dismissive remarks about humans. Now, there was only silence. Zarvex, who had once spoken so confidently about humanity's supposed fear of war, was the first to break that silence. We may have misjudged them. One by one, the counselors nodded in agreement. Humans, it seemed, were not afraid of war. They simply didn't need it, until someone gave them no choice. And when that time came, the galaxy would learn what humanity truly was. A species that didn't crave violence, but had mastered it when the stakes demanded. In the aftermath, the Council's perception of humans changed forever. They were no longer seen as fragile or hesitant. They were a force to be reckoned with, a reminder to the galaxy that while humanity sought peace, they would never shy away from war when it was necessary. Because in the end, it wasn't fear that held them back. It was knowing that when humanity went to war, they would do whatever it took to win. Let me know if you'd like to explore more details or make adjustments.